Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys my Tindangle Yugioh deck profile for February 2018. This is one of the new decks that was released with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Extreme Force. It seems like a very interesting deck concept that revolves around the position of arrows for the Link monsters and the flip effects from the Tindangle monsters to get off various effects met with certain conditions. And it's a very budget deck as well, so if you're looking for something cheap to build from the latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster pack, this is definitely the deck to look into, because pretty much, if not, actually everything in this deck is common, so a very easy deck to put together. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. Now all the Tindangle monsters, like I said, revolve around flip effects, and each one is a different level, so the main concept with them will be link summoning. So your big one is Tindangle Hound. You can target one face-up monster on the field. This card gains attack equal to that target's original attack, then change that target to face-down defense. And each monster your opponent controls loses 1,000 attack for each monster linked to it. If this card is destroyed by battle or a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-down monster on the field and change it to face-up defense. So like I said, the whole concept of the deck revolves around the flip effect of the different monsters. So you want to make use of each of those effects to correlate with one another. And I also run 3 Tindangle Intruder. With this flip effect, you can add 1 Tindangle card from your deck to your hand, so he's basically your search. And when this card is normal summoned, you can send 1 Tindangle card from your deck to the graveyard. If a monster is special summoned to your field in face-down defense while this card is in your graveyard, special summon this card in face-down defense. This is not optional. You can only use each effect of Tindangle Intruder once per turn. So like I said, search, and that flip effect is very important for the special summon as well, because you can't link summon with face-down monsters. They have to be face-up, so it benefits when you get those monsters face-up for that reason alone. And you also want to get your Tindangles in the graveyard for a lot of different effects as well. And I also run 3 Tindangle base Gardna. As you can see, we're going down with the levels. We've gone through 7 and 6 so far for your level 5. Tindangle, if you control a face-down defense monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense. You can only special summon base Gardna once per turn this way. If a monster is normal or special summon and is now pointed to by an opponent's link monster, except during the damage step, you contribute this card to special summon 1 Tindangle monster from your hand or deck in attack position or face down defense. So once again, another special summon requirement, a little more difficult, but becoming more practical with the more link monsters coming out, because you have to have an arrow from your opponent for that one effect. But the special summon effect is very good with this card because it's easy to make use of. For that, even if it is just a once per turn, you want to be able to get to it so you can do your link summon. And also I run 4 Tindangle Angel. Its flip effect is you can special summon 1 flip monster from your hand or graveyard in face down defense position, except for Tindangle Angel. Then if is your opponent's battle phase and the battle phase, you can only use the effect of Tindangle Angel once per turn. So it only has the 1 flip effect, but it is a very good one because it protects you from your opponent's onslaught if they go into this card. And another thing you have to notice is that all the Tindangles, except for the big ones, have higher defensive, so they are more of a protective kind of card, and she really plays into that because she special summons and she ends your opponent's battle phase, meaning that, like I said, if they hit this and they had a bigger plan going, they're in for a big surprise, especially if they didn't see you set this card, because it's one of those easier ones since it's a level 4. You don't have to special summon it so your opponent knows what it is. You can just set it and flip it, and then it'll be basically their loss. And lastly, for the Tindangle monsters, 3 Tindangle Protector. Its flip effect is you can change up to 3 face-down defense monsters you control to face-up defense. Then, if all those are Tindangle monsters, you can add up to that many Tindangle cards from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Protector once per turn. Probably one of the most important ones in the deck because he is your biggest setup with the deck. Being able to change the face down that you have on the field to face up, like I said, for the link plays, very necessary since a lot of them will already be set. Get him set up on your field to use as quick as possible for that effect because you'll need those for your link summon, because your big link monster, Acute Cerberus, is one of your most important plays to get the deck rolling. But the add effect as well with this card just helps since you have so many Tindangle searches with this deck. And for the non-Tindangle search support, I run 3 Prediction Princess Coinorma. This flip effect is you can special summon one level 3 or higher flip monster from your hand or deck in face down defense. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn except for Prediction Princess monsters. She is that one go-to card where you can basically go off of her effect and then set something that you want to be set for your opponent to activate on the next turn. So she'll give you that monster you need for that specific situation, which is why I like you. She's very easy flip effect setup. And I also run 2 Prediction Princess Tower Tray. I run 2 of these because they work well with her limitation effect for the Prediction Princess. If you can't use your flip effects for your Tindangles, you can at least use them to get them into the graveyard for the ritual summon of this card, which is a Prediction Princess, so it doesn't go against the Koinorma's effect. And that is it for the monsters. We will now move on to spells. I run 3 Nagel's Protection. Tindangle monsters in your main monster zones cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects. Once per turn, if your Tindangle monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, the damage is doubled. You can banish this card from your graveyard and discard 1 Tindangle card to add 1 Nagel's Protection from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. The fact that this card can search itself out if it's destroyed and double damage and protection makes it an amazing continuous spell card for the deck. You want to get this set up as fast as you can because it's your literal wall for your monsters, and it's also an offensive card because with your big Tindangle monsters doing double damage, it's even, scarier to your opponent because they don't know what to expect from those big hit plays. But the fact that you can search it as well means you'll always have the option for it. So that's why I run 3, so you can search it but then have those options later when it's destroyed. And I also run 2 Euler's Circuit. I run 2 of this basically because it's a field spell where your opponent's monsters cannot attack if you control 3 or more Tindangle monsters. Once per turn, during your standby phase, you can target 1 Tindangle monster. This card you control and give it to your opponent. You can banish this card from your graveyard to discard 1 Tindangle card to add 1 Euler's Circuit from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Euler's Circuit once per turn. So the option effect works well with the Acute Cerberus, which we'll get to in a bit, because you need that arrow point. So when you set up where you give that monster to your opponent on their side of the field, that's basically what you go for with that, because most of the time your opponent's going to want to try and avoid where Acute Cerberus is arrows, not angles, point. And also 1 terraforming. Like I said, I run 2 Euler circuits just so I have the terraforming to grab it faster. And like I said, you can rely on its own search effect as well. But 3 of that, it's not like the protection offense capability of Nagel's Protection, but still a very good card to play. You just don't want to be opening it up too much. And I also run 2 Prediction Ritual. This is the ritual spell card for Tower Tray. It was the easiest and I think the most budget support to go with the deck for flip effects. I've seen some decks run the Shadal, but like I said, this is a little more budget worthy, and I actually am a big fan because this works well with the Tindangle monsters to get your monsters you tribute into the graveyard for those different effects. Plus, I also run 3 Allure of Darkness. All the Tindangles are dark, so very good to rely on this for draw power. And 2 Preparation of Rites. This card with Tower Tray, easy search to grab it, one of the faster ways to do so. Plus 1 Upstart Goblin for easy draw search after you search your deck for some stuff for easier resources. And 1 Dark Hole to finish off the spell lineup. If you have Regeki, you can do that as well. It's just that optional play of what you want to do. And moving on to traps, I run 3 Tindangle Dulene. I really hope I didn't butcher that. But when you take battle damage from an opponent's attacking monster, well, you have 3 or more Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard, you can destroy the attacking monster, and if you do, special summon 1 Tindangle Acute Cerberus from your extra deck. If you control no monsters in the extra monster zone, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 3 Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard, special summon them in face down defense. One of the easiest ways to get out the Acute Cerberus with this card. It's quite amazing how fast this works and consistency, so it makes me want to possibly bump up Acute Cerberus 2-3 just for that easy special summon, and the fact that the second effect sets up your field for another Cerberus definitely makes me want to bump it up. And to finish off the traps, 1 Solemn Warning and 1 Bottomless Trap Hole for the main deck. And now moving on to the extra deck. Like I said, I only have the 2 Acute Cerberus. Might bump it up to 3. Been testing it, and I do end up going through two of them very fast in my games. I think if the games stretch out, I might end up using a third one, so that resource might maybe want to bump this up to 3. But to make it, you need 3 Tindangle monsters, and it gains 3,000 attack if you have 3 or more Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard, including base Gardna, which is basically this one, so making a definite run of in the deck. And it gains 500 attack for each Tindangle monster it points to. At the end of the battle phase of this card, declare an attack. You can special summon 1 Tindangle token with 0 attack and 0 defense. So the field spell that gives control of the Tindangle to your opponent is very important because where you place it, where this arrow is, means you get that 500 point boost, which can make this card even bigger when it attacks one of your opponent's monsters. And if you're going for the double damage play, it makes it even worse for them. Plus, I also run 1 Master King Archfiend because the Tindangles are Fiend type monsters, so you can make full use of this link in the deck. And also 1 Proxy Dragon, 1 Decode Talker, 1 Borreload, 1 Akashic Magician, and 1 Ningirsu for the link support. And I also run for the Xyz 1 Castel, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 number 41 Baguska, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Gauntlet Launcher, and Big Eye for the rank 6 and 7 plays you could possibly do, and 1 Mech Beast Grand Pulse for the rank 3 plays. If you want to put Leviair, you can do that as well. It's basically player preference at that point. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.